Greetings, comrades. Welcome to Model Kit Monday. Here, I present to you the mighty German Panzer VIII MAUS. Panzer VIII MAUS, I should say. This kit, before I get into this, it was a pain, especially these tracks and the suspension gear, the wheels. But it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. So, like I said, welcome comrades to another video. I'm going to be talking about the Takom 135 Panzer VIII MAUS tank kit. So for starters, I want to say it's a pretty freaking big kit. This thing is bigger than my Pershing. Now, my Pershing isn't out here with me right now. I could go get it, but I might do that a little later. Now, I haven't painted the tank just yet because I literally just completed it. I completed it just like 10 minutes ago. So I will definitely be doing a update video tomorrow with all the paint schemes on it, which is going to be really cool. So let's discuss the Panzer VIII MAUS. The Panzer VIII MAUS was a Nazi super heavy tank designed in the Second World War because the Allies were figuring out ways to counter Nazi Germany's bigger and heavier tanks. So Adolf Hitler decided to make a tank so armored and so heavy that would be virtually... Stop it. That would be virtually... Stupid thing keeps going. That would be virtually impossible to destroy. So, for some specifications, it had 8.9 inches on the turret front, 8 inches sloped on the hull, 7.9 inches, or possibly 8.9 inches on both sides, and then to the rear would be 150 millimeters of armor. So just think about all that much armor, resulting in the tank weighing a monstrous 188 tons. You heard correctly. It was almost 200 tons for a tank. If that doesn't surprise you, I don't even know. So, some further... just the turrets. Some further specifications. This thing had a 128 millimeter Pak 44 gun, as well as a coaxial 75 millimeter gun. This is its main gun. This is the secondary gun. 75 millimeter was the secondary. And this thing also had a fuel tank on the back of it. External fuel tank. Now, with all this weight and this armament and this armor, came at a very high price. Its maximum speed was only 12 miles per hour, and it would sink in the mud a lot of times. The prototypes would sink in the mud. Yeah, because it was so heavy, its sheer weight. I mean, I literally can just imagine this thing, like, shaking the ground. It's so heavy. I mean, like, not like an earthquake, but just, like, little rumbles of the ground. Because, like I said, this thing was so heavy. So, some more history on this. But the Panzer VIII MAUS, only 2 were built. There was VIII, which just had the fully functional hull and a crappy prototype turret with no gun. Then the one I built, since this kit is actually, the one I built is a 2-in-1 kit. You could build VIII or VIII. You can't build both. You could only build one or the other. I built VIII because it's the fully operational one. And V2 came with the armor and the turret, which is my favorite. This turret does turn, by the way. So, I think you can do a full 360. I don't want to pop this thing out of its sockets. There we go. So, yeah, just do a full 360. And when the Soviets were advancing towards the factory that the MAUS was being built, the Germans basically blew up the interior of the MAUS, leaving the turret to, I'm not going to pop it off, leaving the turret basically fall off. But the Soviets were somehow able to recover it, and it's in the Kublinka Tank Museum to this day. Its insides are completely destroyed. You only have the outside and the turret, but it's still very cool. Still very cool. I'd like to go to that museum someday. Now, you guys are probably wondering, MAUS, but it's so big. Why would it be called MAUS? This was innocuously named. It was originally called Mammut, which was German for mammoth. And I forget exactly why it was changed innocuously. Quite possibly to deceive Allied intelligence that a new light tank was coming, but then they'd be faced with this biggin. So, yeah, it was pretty impressive, but it had a lot of flaws. I also heard, if you wanted to change the tracks, if one of the tracks were busted off, it's not like the Pershing or the Sherman where you can just pick it up and stitch it back on. No. There were heavy jack lifts that the crew would have to use, and the tank would basically go up in the air, kinda, since the side skirt armors, they couldn't lift up. There weren't like hydraulic lifts or anything that could prop up, no. So you literally had to lift the tank off the ground, kinda, and then repair the tracks, or whatever it is. Some other modifications, well, not modifications, but yeah, some other modifications of the MAUS were that there's supposed to be a 20mm anti-aircraft gun in the turret. These would have probably been on production vehicles. And Hitler wanted 150 of these behemoths built. Now, I calculated that 188 tons, or I forget the exact weight, it's over 300,000 pounds, to 150, and it's over 53 million pounds of steel. Yes, Hitler would have wasted 53 million pounds of steel on these things. And the thing is, they already had pretty good tanks, but a lot of them were just crappy because they were in a desperate war situation and they had rushed production. So, goes to show what happens when you're on a losing front in a war. Either way, about this kit, the track parts were hard to cut out from the racks I got them from. Hold on, I think I have them somewhere. Okay. Here are like all the rack parts that, if you didn't see the previous video, Alpha Snipes snipped out for me since I didn't have the right tools to do it. The bladed pliers, which I do have, the blade is too thick and it kept snapping previous pieces. So Alpha Snipes, I asked him if he wanted to help me out, and he came over. He had a thin blade, and yeah, I was able to cut those things out. And I was able to assemble it. Now, like I said earlier, this isn't painted yet. Only the wheels are, and the tracks. But like I said, I will be doing an update video on that. Overall, this kit was it was challenging, but it was worth it in the end. It was really worth it in the end. I would only recommend this to advanced model kit builders. Like, if you want to go all out advanced, you should buy this. But if you're new to model kit building, hold off on it. Just don't. So, yeah, that's pretty much it about the MAUS. You know, and the kit and stuff like that. Here, instructions. Here show V1 and V2. You can see V1 is the one with the crappy turret. And there's even alternate instruction builds in here. Like, for example, if you guys can see this, there is a 7.1 for the track builds, and then there's a 7.2. 7.2 is V2, which is the one I wanted to build, and 7.1 is V1, which I don't like V1. And that's about it. Like I said, this kit was advanced, but I enjoyed it. The MAUS was a very, I would say it was impressive on paper. Like, on design proposal, it was, like, fabulous. But in real life, it was it would have been a waste of resources. So I'll wrap up this video. I just wanted to get that vlog in. There will be an update video tomorrow. Hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya, comrades.